This week on Sister Wives, a polygamy divorce. Christine and Truly help Isabel move to her new place in North Carolina. Meri's friend Jen takes over at the inn for the summer. And Christine calls a family meeting to announce that her house is sold and she's moving in a couple of weeks. Welcome to Reality Recapped, where I recap all of the trashiest reality shows. If you are new here, my name is Heather. I have a degree in psychology, and it's through that lens that I watch these shows and make my comments. Of course, I haven't met with any of the people on the show, so anything that I state is simply an opinion. My channel is a little bit of education and a whole lot of snark. It takes 6 days for Christine and Truly to drive Isabel across country, and they're stopping at all these different towns and cities and checking out things as they go, and that sounds like a lot of fun and a great way to send her off. Hunter comes to visit Maddie while Christine and Isabel and Truly are there, and they all have dinner. Isabel said the last year was really hard with watching her mom go through the divorce and seeing how sad her mom was. And Isabel says she really depends on her mom so much, and her mom also really depends on her, and that them being apart might be good for both of them so that they can kind of grow and get strong on their own. And it's a very healthy idea of moving into adulthood and how relationships evolve over time. We go to Meri, who's at the B&B with her best friend Jen, and Jen was moving to Texas and on the way stopped off at the B&B, and Meri needed help after her mom passed away, so her friend Jen decided to stay for the summer and help take care of the place. And Meri is so much lighter in this when she's hanging out with her friend, and it's nice to see Meri joking around and having a good time. Cody says Meri's relationship with her sister wives from the beginning has been very strained.
She needs a relationship outside of their sister wives, for sure.
I rarely agree with Cody, but here I do, and I'm very happy that she has an outside friend that she feels like she can really trust and who is loyal to her. So good for you, Meri. Now we go to Christine's house, and she's sitting and waiting for Meri, Robyn, Cody, and Janelle to come over so she can tell them that she sold her house, and she's a little nervous. She says it's not only that her house is sold, but she's getting ready to move in 2 weeks.
This is a pulling the rug out from under them kind of a thing.
I don't fully understand this statement because it seems to us, the viewer, that she's been really clear about the fact that she's leaving. Maybe it's just that that time has come sooner than what people realized. But it seems like she's been communicating this whole time that she is not happy, that she wants a divorce, and that she's moving. So I'm a little confused as to why she's saying it's pulling the rug out. So Janelle says that she thinks that the meeting is being called because she believes Christine has sold her house, but she doesn't really know. She's not sure why the meeting has been called.
I'm really in my head. I'm stressed out. I don't know what's going to hit us right now.
I feel angry, a little betrayed, and I feel like I understand where she's coming from. And I also know the anger is a secondary emotion.
Meri also says that she just feels really hurt and that she feels like Christine doesn't see the value in their family. And I love production because they keep doing this. They keep kind of throwing Cody under the bus. And the way they do that here is they have Meri talk about what's really going on. So there's anger, but then there's also the sadness. So she has like this emotional range. And then they contrast this with Cody and what his response is.
I'm angry about Christine leaving the family. I'm angry that she's moving to Utah. I'm angry that she's trying to sell the house. She moved my stuff out. I'm angry that she asked me to leave. I'm angry about a lot of things.
Typical Cody, he's always the victim, never accountable, never had any responsibility in any of the things that are happening or why she's leaving, his role in favoritism and how that affected and completely dismantled his whole family. I haven't met with Cody, so this is just my opinion, but he appears to be a narcissist. And again, that's just my opinion. And when you leave a narcissist, they create a war. So I'm worried for everybody around him right now. He's really going to be paying attention to who is loyal to him, who is on his side. And the smallest thing, even speaking about being in the middle, like I think Janelle tries to be very much in the middle in arguments and like, well, maybe there's a point here, you know. Potentially he's going to see that as a lack of loyalty. And I worry that his rage is going to turn to anyone who isn't completely on his side. And we already know that for whatever reason, Meri's on his side. And Robyn, of course, is on his side. So with Christine leaving, I worry about the effect that that's going to have on Janelle. It's not Christine's responsibility, of course. It's a dynamic that Cody is creating, but I just worry for her as well.
And it is now in contract.
Yay!
I accepted the offer.
Good.
It's a
I was
good
a little
offer.
worried about because the market it slows down in the fall.
Why is Janelle saying yay?
Uh-oh, Janelle. You got to watch out for this guy. He's going to start coming after you, too.
Found a house. I'm moving next week.
Oh my gosh, her face. She's looking right at Robyn, who I'm sure is giving her a mean look. But yay, Christine. We are so happy for you. All the viewers are cheering you on right now and are so happy you're finally leaving this relationship, this horrible dynamic. You deserve so much better. We can't wait for you to move on.
There's nothing I can do here. I'm not going to express my undying love for her. Please come back because I don't even like her.
I mentioned in another video that sometimes when you break up with somebody, they do things that are kind of gifts to you, but you don't realize it in the time. Like they seem like they're just being really mean. But honestly, like if somebody says that, it's so much easier to say like, yeah, I made the right choice. Like they just are so clearly not for me. And I think he's doing that right now. And nobody cares that you don't like her. We don't like you, Cody.
My strength is sticking around and seeing if Cody would be willing to work on a relationship.
I think this is something that gets taught indirectly to women, that you're supposed to stick around, you're supposed to hang out, you're supposed to wait. And if you are pure enough with your love, somehow magically this person who's treating you horribly is going to turn into some other creature who is loving and caring and respectful, and it's just never going to happen. Some people have asked me why Meri has stayed, and honestly, I'm confused by it myself. There might be a few explanations. So one is that she had that whole catfish situation. It sounds like she went to Cody and was like, I'm leaving you. This guy is wealthy. He's hot. I'm getting out of here. I'm not going to be with you anymore. And she basically told him she was leaving, and then unfortunately found out that it was a woman and a complete lie. So part of me wonders if she feels like what she's going through now is like a trial of how much she's willing to suffer to get her marriage back. I don't know this. This is just a theory. Another opinion is that it's just more comfortable for her to stay. He's not in her life, but she has a nice house. She has a platform to help sell the LuLaRoe stuff that she's selling. And so it's just easier and less complicated to stay. Another theory might be that it's religion-based, that she really feels like she's supposed to stick it out, and maybe she had an error in judgment, but she's corrected that, and she's back on her path and wanting to stay on it. And of course, it could be all of those things, all overlapping one another. So it's really hard to know why she's staying. I've also heard that it's for financial reasons. So what do you guys think? Is there anything that I missed? Do you guys have a theory as to why she stays? And do you think after she sees what Cody is saying in this episode, she's going to have a change of heart?
We're not legally married. I want to work on the relationship, but Cody has basically said that he doesn't. Does that mean we're just not married anymore? That's not how I consider it. I feel like we're still married.
I don't really consider myself married to Meri. If she wanted to move on and marry another, she wouldn't get an argument with me.
No matter the reason for Meri staying around, I hope this new information and him clearly stating he doesn't think of her as his wife, he doesn't really want her around, he's okay with her moving on. I hope that this somehow convinces Meri that she doesn't deserve this. She deserves better. Meri is not perfect. None of us are, but she definitely deserves better treatment than this. I also think that when she leaves, Cody will have a problem with it because I believe he's a narcissist and they don't like to be left. That's not a good reason to stay. So, Meri, fly away. Watch Christine soar and follow her lead.
How is Julie thinking?
Was really frustrated that we were moving, really upset we were moving, and then
She was more upset about moving than about Christine and I being divorced. Like, what kid is okay with their parents getting a divorce?
Cody says essentially that Christine must have said something to her and distorted things in such a way that she doesn't have a problem with it. I worry that he's going to think that Truly isn't loyal to him, and that's going to create problems in their relationship because ultimately that's what he cares about, whether you're on his side or somebody else's side. And if you're on somebody else's side, he's not going to have time for you. Christine has also mentioned that her children don't tell her everything. because they're kind of protective over her. And so that also might be what's going on. They don't want Christine to feel bad. They love her so much that they're not sharing everything that they're feeling. And that could be part of what's happening as well. Another thing is that Truly is 11. She doesn't know what divorce means. She hasn't lived through it herself. So her conception of what that means and the ramifications of it are so limited by her age and her life experience.
Well, you and Mom are divorced. I'm like, okay. It was a little bit news to me.
How is it news to you?
That we're just divorced?
Oh.
We never made an official agreement. We never signed a paper. We never agreed. We never went to our church leaders and said, hey, we're divorced, or we want a divorce. Would they even allow us a divorce? All of a sudden, it just sank into me that she's just like, I'm leaving, so we're divorced.
Usually, our church would say you're divorced. You have to go ask for a divorce.
Yeah.
Prove that the marriage is broken.
Christine just saying I'm divorced is sort of invalidating our beliefs. If we want a divorce, then we have to go get their approval. Usually they require counseling. Usually they require lots and lots of meetings. Technically, from my understanding, until Christine is physical with another man, she's not divorced.
What a weird thing to say, Robyn. Just a really weird thing to say. And also, what is her hope? That Christine will be put through more agony and she has to earn her way out of the marriage? It's so much better that she can just leave. And Robyn says all of this and she almost seems to forget that we all know that you were also divorced. And I don't know, did you go to counseling? Did you go to lots and lots and lots of meetings? It's just another excuse, another way to drag things out, another way to make things harder for Christine. I'm so happy that she doesn't have to deal with any of this. Not even the legal separation. She doesn't even have to worry about that. It's fantastic.
The rules don't apply to her anymore if she's not in the faith.
Neither of us are part of that religion anymore. So me just saying I'm divorced, I don't see the problem in that at all.
The difference between me and Christine and me and Meri is that Meri and I have been unraveling our relationship for years. Christine found out that she would never be happy married to me, but her leaving was so sudden that it wasn't unraveled for me. It was like I was being kicked to the curb. And that was the difference. Is wait a second, you can't do this to me.
Yeah, you're supposed to just be unhappy and hang around while I have a fully functioning marriage and I have intimacy and I have all the things that you want and you get to watch me have it with somebody else that I'm showing favoritism for. His idea of how life is supposed to work is just really surprising. God, I hope Meri sees this and is just what the heck? What am I doing? Why am I wasting this time? My life with this person who doesn't care for me and only cares about themselves. And then Cody, who talks out of both sides of his mouth, says this.
I guess in some ways I'm just sorry we dragged it out so long.
Do you see how there's no truth with him. It's all shifting. Nothing he says really means anything. And there's no point in even having conversations with him because he doesn't have any sort of accountability. There's nothing to grab hold on because everything shifts based on what he's saying in the moment.
I feel like everything that you guys did proved that you really did put everything into it that you could. And I think it was really important because the biggest thing that we have all produced is this cohesive group of kids.
Janelle always brings it back to the kids because I think that's her biggest focus, and I appreciate that. I also think Janelle tries to create a positive outlook and reframe things in a positive way, which I also appreciate.
3 of Janelle's kids are close to 3 of Christine's, and that's really it.
Cody is a little bit myopic. He sees everything from this perspective of Robyn and her kids. And they have this really weird perception that her kids have been so slighted. I don't know why. Because I see the kids interact at holidays. Everything seems fine. So I'm not quite sure why they perceive that there's this shunning or something. It's really weird.
Robyn, me, and my children are all connecting constantly. It's an energy of connection perpetually.
It's really frustrating to hear him talk about his children, but what he means is his children with Robyn and Robyn's kids. He doesn't mean all of his children because he's got 18, and he goes on to say about them.
With Janelle and Christine, I'm only getting feedback from them about what's going on with the kids. The kids themselves are not bringing this to me.
Right, because you know how your kids, your children are responsible for the relationship that you have with them. You know how they're supposed to be the ones to reach out to you. It's insane. His argument is so insane and so selfish. I feel so bad for his children as well. Not just his wives, his children.
It's much more nuanced than just to say, Cody favors Robyn. That's not even a cool statement. It's that she communicates and her children communicate. They involve me.
Cody, you're telling us way too much about yourself. Like the fact that all you care about is the energy that you get from other people. And relationships are not about energy you get. It's about a sharing of energy. It's about acknowledging that other people have needs and you are there to serve them, and especially with your children. But all he cares about is him. All he cares about is himself.
When you first told us, I kept thinking, what about the kids? But I have hope that in time, like, we'll all eventually learn how to cohesively co-parent, like be together, possibly even for holidays. I don't know.
I like that Janelle switches the focus back to, okay, so this is happening. We can't change it. And let's figure out how to make this the best situation for everybody involved. And I think if everybody kind of just focused on making it a peaceful transition, that would make a huge difference in terms of maintaining relationships and continuing on as a family, even though the family looks different now. I don't think Cody is going to be capable of doing that. I think because he tends to create situations where you're either on his side or not. So I think he will blow that up quickly. And I think, honestly, I think the way that Janelle is handling this is going to rub him the wrong way because it's going to be seen as disloyal from his perspective.
It's not just Cody and Christine's relationship that has been an issue. Like, there's a lot of fractures, and if people, aren't going to work on it, then, like, this is the way of our family.
I really hope Meri is talking about herself in this moment. I hope she's saying, like, hey, if he's not going to work with me on this, then I'm also going to leave. But it's hard to know with Meri because she keeps her cards very close to the chest.
You've been in this place for a very, very long time, and I'm just gradually getting clued in. I actually had to find out from Madison that you had been saying that you were thinking about leaving.
Okay, what you need to know is when you hear things through the grapevine, there's a whole other conversation that you don't get. When you hear things through the grapevine, you should maybe address the source. Because they asked me, why are you staying? Why don't you just leave? They asked me.
Why would my children be trying to talk her into leaving me unless she was telling them that she was in a loveless marriage?
Cody, as an audience member, I can tell that you had a pretty bad loveless marriage, and I never had to ask Christine about it. So I'm guessing that they are just empathetic people, and they have eyes, and they can see what's happening in front of them.
Who said to you, why are you
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Okay, well, I don't want to throw them under the bus.
I'm very happy that Christine isn't saying who she actually talked with. And I guarantee you that Cody is going to have huge issues with whomever those people were. And there's no need for that. They weren't trying to go against Cody, but of course that's how he's going to read it. And I guarantee you he's not going to have a good relationship with those kids anymore.
But they asked me, why stay?
We're talking about the
Cody, I don't know if it matters.
Cody, your kids.
Here's the thing.
Several of your kids. Is that what you want to hear? They asked, they saw how things were in our family. They saw how separate we've been in Flagstaff.
But that's the family group. That's the culture, not the individual relationships.
Do you guys understand what Robyn is saying here? I don't. What is she talking about? It's the family culture, not individual relationships. Like, I'm a little confused by what she's saying. Maybe you guys can let me in on what the heck you think she means. I'm not getting it.
The kids were like, it looked like in Vegas that you and Dad weren't really close anymore.
In Vegas?
Uh-huh.
That's
and
a
I'm
lie.
Like, okay, well.
Because I remember the conversations. I remember what was going on. I remember Janelle and Cody making their relationship better than it ever had been. I remember him talking with you. I remember you guys having fun dates and hearing about that and seeing you guys' relationship. So either you guys were faking it in front of me, I don't know.
I don't know exactly why she's saying I'm lying, and my kids did see it. Cody and I did struggle in Vegas.
She's sitting here saying that everybody's relationships were struggling in Las Vegas and we didn't have what we had, and that Cody and I were the only ones that were okay. That's not true.
So you can't say this is just like, it was all a big fat lie. Let's just be honest about where it was at and that it wasn't just Cody and I.
We were trying to make it work in Vegas. We were really trying.
I've been aware that there's been problems for a long time.
For a long time.
Well, I had
I'm
no
aware.
idea. I did not know.
Do you know what? This is the weirdest interchange because I've seen that Christine and Cody have been in a really bad spot for a long time. But it almost feels like trying to invalidate Christine. Just tell her that she's being crazy and she's doing this on a whim, and it's a thing to me to watch this.
You guys don't communicate very well at all, though. So I don't really see how that could be even legitimate.
I do not know what is happening to Robyn right now, but she seems to have become dysregulated. She doesn't like the fact that Christine is leaving, and so she's going to poke holes and like, well, you guys aren't even trying. You aren't even communicating. I think she's having this argument. Robyn, it's over. She's leaving. She considers herself divorced. She's selling the house. She's out. There is nothing you can do to keep her. You don't have that control. Thank God.
We've communicated better the last
there's
6
no,
months.
like-
Communicated better the last
there's
6
no,
months.
like-
Really?
Don't you think so?
No, not at all. Please stop staying here. Your stuff is out. I'm leaving. We're breaking up. It's all been in her court. She has just had control of everything over that.
That's still communication. A breakup is not a compromise. A breakup is usually one person. And she has communicated all of that to you. So just because you don't like what she's saying doesn't mean she's not communicating. What you don't like is that she's not listening to you anymore and she's doing her own thing that works for her.
Because you're saying the only relationship that was going okay was mine and Cody's, and that's
never
not
said
true.
that.
You did say that. You said in Vegas, the only people that were close was us.
I didn't say that.
I know that you and Cody were in such a good place in Vegas.
Yeah, I don't really like being pulled into this and using my relationship as an example, as ammunition against Christine. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm sitting here wanting to say something, but I don't know what to say.
I must have gotten confused because I do not know how I got that out of what she said.
Yeah, it's almost like, I don't know, your perspective is super distorted. Have you been living with a narcissist for several years? Because that'll do it to you. So one flea was swatted down. Cody tries another approach.
We've been 12 years public, 11 years public, trying to convince the world that we have something legitimate.
Again, he's telling on himself a little bit because what he cares about isn't that his marriage is totally over. It's his public perception. And that's what he cares about more than anything else.
And in a moment, she decides we're divorced. We've worked so hard begging the public to accept our marriage, our family. And it feels like it delegitimizes everything I've worked for.
Cody is never responsible for anything. I think if 3 out of 4 of your wives are unhappy, maybe you might be the problem.
I have a clear conscience knowing that I gave it my best. If people want to look at me and think otherwise, okay, I can't do anything about that. Being a mom is my most important thing. But I couldn't, with a clear conscience, stay married to someone who had favorites and made it very known. Someone who's breaking my kids' hearts. I needed to stand with them instead.
That's it for this week, you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give a like. And if you feel like subscribing, that would be great. Please subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.